10 ways to find more goodness in your life. And when I say goodness, I mean the sweet stuff, the stuff that makes you feel good, the stuff that makes you feel happy to be alive, the stuff that brings back the warm and fuzzies in life. And so with 10 ways to find more goodness in your life, let's dive into number one. Number one is, can you remember, and I'd love if you wrote it in the comment section, can you remember a time in your life that made you laugh out loud? A time that made you literally laugh out loud. I would love a few examples in the comment section of just a moment, maybe a person, a situation, something you were doing or somewhere you were in your life that literally made you laugh out loud. And that's our first one, a moment that made you laugh out loud. Number two, what's a moment that you might not have been laughing out loud, but my goodness, it made you smile? And it might have made you smile from the inside, or your heart was just warm and fuzzy, or it might have made you smile from ear to ear. But what's a moment that made you smile? And it was one of those good smiles. It was one of those, playing with my daughter I see. It's one of those just smiles that brought a warmth to your heart. It and even if it didn't show up on your face, you could just feel the warmness in your heart because of that smile. So number one, what's a moment that made you laugh out loud? Number two, what's a moment that made your heart smile? Might have made your face smile too, but eventually it certainly made your heart smile. Number three, what's a memory of a specific time that you felt incredibly valuable in your life? What is a time or a moment when you felt really, really valuable in your life? You felt important. You felt needed or wanted. You felt like your skill set, you felt like your talent, you felt like your abilities, what you're good at, were needed and valued and appreciated and wanted in that moment. And you did something, and regardless if they said it or not, they might have just turned towards you, and by the look they gave you, you could tell that they really valued you were there. They really valued how you stepped up or showed up or what you did or the fact that you cared or the fact that you helped or the fact that you didn't do anything. I don't know what it was. But what's a moment in your life that made you feel incredibly valuable? Incredibly valuable. Number four, who's someone you really love? Who's someone you really, really love in your life? You just have a deep love for them, regardless if it's an intimate relationship or a deep friendship, but you just really love them as a human. You love the way they show up. You love the way they treat you. You love the way or what they represent in the world, but you really love them. Who's that person? Number five, what's a challenging time you were able to overcome? Something that seemed insurmountable in the moment. You didn't think you were going to be able to do it, but my goodness, you found a way through it. You found a way over it, under it, around it, or you straight up went through it. But what's a time in your life that you thought you were not going to be able to overcome this obstacle, and you did? You successfully overcame the obstacle. Can you remember a moment in your life when that happened? Good. Number six, what about a deeply passionate, loving moment? I saw someone write, that's private earlier. That's okay. You don't have to share it. But what's a moment that had a lot of passion in it, a lot of deep, romantic love? A moment when you first saw that person and went, wow, who are you? Or a moment when you really connected to somebody. A moment when someone caught your attention or said something to you in a certain way that went, whoa, that's exciting. Well, it's a deeply loving moment. Number seven, when's a moment that made you feel grateful to be alive? A moment that happened that you just felt incredibly grateful to be alive. Just the fact that your heart was beating or there was air in your lungs. What's a moment that made you feel incredibly, incredibly grateful to be alive? Like you just got down on your knees and said, thank you for an opportunity to keep living. Thank you for another moment like this. Thank you. What about number 8? Who is someone that was there when you really needed them? Can you think of a person you're grateful for, a person that was there when you really, really needed them? Kind of times were tough, things were difficult, and you're like, man, I need some help. And then someone showed up and delivered, and you were like, oh my goodness. My goodness, I'm grateful to see you. My goodness, I'm so thankful that you showed up right now. My goodness, you decided to step up. Thank you. I'm so grateful for that moment when that person or those people decided to step up. Number 9, when's a moment when you were incredibly generous? When you had extra and you shared it, or you might not have had a whole lot, but you shared it anyways, and you were incredibly generous in that moment. When's a moment that you shared that you just feel proud? Looking back at your life, you're like, wow, I didn't have to, but I'm really glad I did. I'm really glad I decided to share in that moment. I'm really glad I decided to give in that moment, and I'm proud of myself for that. When's a moment when you really gave? And finally, number 10, looking back on the whole last 12 months, what are your 3 favorite moments from 2019? What are your 3 favorite moments from the entire year, 12 months of life? What are your top 3 favorite moments of that year? Now, here's my hope. My hope is during this little session, you have a pen and paper and you've been writing like crazy. If you want to go back and rewrite this and re-get the questions, go to jrctv.com, which is our YouTube channel. I'll post this video in a little bit. But take time to write answers to all these 10 questions and watch what happens. The goal of this is to help you feel the goodness in your life. Help you feel where all the magic is in your life. And if you take a moment to not only think about these moments, but write them and re-experience them as you capture them on paper, watch what happens. Watch how you feel. Watch what magic starts to show up back in your life. Enjoy this process. Have some fun. I'm going to go catch the sunset with my wife, and I'll see you all tomorrow.